Hello, my friends and family. Welcome to Revolutionary Blackout Wednesday night special edition. I have my co-host here with us, Zoya's Love. Zoya has been doing great. I jumped in for one of the Twitter spaces that you have been doing on the Ukraine-Russia situation. Really good, really good. Zoya definitely knows her stuff on this situation, mostly because of her background as well. But I'm super thankful that I have a platform right now because I'm watching the same shit go down that went down during my childhood, like no the whole post-war fog bullshit. I'm witnessing it now. So the entire West, everyone on every political aisle that is dominant here is lying to you about this conflict. There are people who and Zoya, do you have any thoughts? We got Zoya here, my co-host. How you doing, Zoya?
Hi guys, happy to join you. Yeah, it's wild. How old were you when Iraq started?
I remember when 9/11 happened. I was in fifth grade. My teacher, uh, she went by Miss Wise at the time. And I remember she just started randomly crying when no one was like, "What?" And then they sent us home. We had like the assembly, and they were like, "Yo, the Twin Towers fell." We saw like the video, and now like looking back at it, like, damn, they showed us that. But anyway, I guess we was gonna see it anyway. So I was like sixth grade around the time, grade school. Like, so this was a key part of my development. Like, and this is why I started out as being anti-war, even before I was like a socialist, even what I would call leftist. I started out being anti-war. I started out being anti-establishment, seeing like, oh, George Bush Jr., these goons, the neocons that now the Democratic Party prop up. Like, you guys know how crazy it is seeing people like Bill Kristol being praised. What's the lady? What's her name? She's on MSNBC. What's her name? What's her name? Nicole Wallace. Nicole Wallace. She was like a
Oh
spokesperson
Lord.
for George W. Bush Jr. So there was a giant development for me, like witnessing that horrific war criminal um, administration, and that would led me to be super excited about Barack Obama, right? Because that's when you had at least Democrats would pretend to be anti-war, right? Like we were talking about it with Margaret Kimberly yesterday. She in her 60s, never seen pro-war propaganda like this. Because at least, like, I remember during the war against terror, there were at least some counter voices in the Washington Post, New York Times. Now it's nothing. Now it's nothing. I was like, man, Barack Obama gonna end the war. That's great. And then he doubled down, took two wars, turned to seven, bombed more people than George Bush by orders of magnitude. Then Donald Trump defeated his record on that. Then I eventually led into more Marxist socialist way of thinking, but it was definitely being anti-war first. Now I'm watching the same thing again. I'm seeing the same tactics because they don't have to change the tactics, because if the tactics work, why change it? I'm seeing the same pro-war propaganda that worked on people being repeated again.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
and I embrace
At
like
least there's some protests. People were in the streets opposing that war.
yeah, I people have been very cowardly because of the way they've been just falling in line with state propaganda, because they don't want to be called a Putin puppet. Like there's like this coordinated propaganda push to call anyone who just tell the truth about the conflict. They will say, "Oh, they're the Putin left, the Putin sympathizers on the left, the tankies, right? The
Well,
tankies."
right now they're even trying to have a professor in Chicago removed just for presenting the historical context, and they're going after people
Wow.
who are totally anti-Russian. They're liberals.
Wow. See, that's crazy, because I was just about to talk about this, because this is why we have to speak up, because the same, like, insane Islamophobia, right? The same political will and insane culture that led to Japanese internment camps I am seeing right now. Like, my entire life. Well, I understand the theory, right? I understand the concept on how stuff like this can happen. But like, how can an entire population just sit back and let Japanese internment camps happen? I see it now because Zoya gave you guys one example. I got many more. Russian businesses are being vandalized and attacked right now. The Russophobia that we are seeing is, and I'm worried about people about this when I was debunking Russiagate. People are, why you spend so much time debunking Russiagate? Because we are in the McCarthyist era 2.0, where people are literally cheering for World War III and nuclear war just because they hate Russians. Like, it's crazy. And if we have to speak out against this new mass psychosis. And there are a lot of people who are too pussy. There are a lot of people who are afraid of being smeared as a Putin puppet. The people who, like, we lived through this shit. We lived through people smearing people as some Assad apologists, Saddam apologists when we speak out against U.S. wars. I embrace this shit. You guys know that? Like, whenever people are like, oh my God, SocialistMMA, how dare he repeating Putin propaganda? He's against America. He's against SocialistMMA is against America. You're not rooting for America? Hell yes, I'm not. So some dude was like, why you spend all this time criticizing the United States? We in war. Why do you never criticize Putin? People said, why don't you ever criticize Putin? It's Rome. We got my boy Rome in the house. What's up, my nigga? Is Putin killing our niggas in the street, bro?
No.
Why the fuck would I spend any of my time on Putin? I am asking you guys.
Right.
And I asked someone this. I'm like, why are you mad that I spend time criticizing politicians that I actually have influence over?
Yeah.
The people who are protesting Putin are doing their goddamn thing. Where the fuck are people protesting the genocide in Yemen? Us starving millions of Afghanistan people. And you got people who are pussy, too pussy to even say this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, that you guys are so anti-imperialist, so anti-war that you guys are cheering for fucking Nazis. These same people, while Hitler is taking over Europe, these motherfuckers be like, oh my God, I don't think we should go engage with these motherfuckers. I'm not endorsing what Putin has done, but you guys are erasing what we supposed to stand for as communists, punching Nazis in the fucking face.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like Malcolm X said, you know,
if they march in our hood, but go ahead, Ron. If they march in our hood, you guys are like, no, I'm peace. I'm not gonna let this Nazi fucking. Well, you guys are crazy. Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
It's just like Malcolm X said, man. You can't, man.
We gotta get in trouble today, man.
Look, man, this shit is so crazy. Let me find my lighter. Hold on.
I wanted to say on the vandalizing Russian businesses, what's even worse is because Americans are so ignorant, they're vandalizing Armenian businesses, Uzbeki businesses. They don't even know who Russians are, so they're just attacking people that are from that region.
There was a guy who was, and I had to see, I'll pull it up here later, but there was a guy who's anti-Putin. Like, he's literally anti-Putin, but his business was still vandalized and destroyed. People are still boycotting his business and waging economic war on him. Like,
where's the protesters against Joe Biden? With all those bombs that he had dropped in the last year that he'd been elected. But like I was saying, it's just like Malcolm X said, you know, Muhammad Ali. You know, our enemies live here. They hurt us every day. They write bills against us every day. And I asked you guys a couple weeks ago, how many Russian leaders have denied you guys health care? How many Chinese leaders have denied you a home in a housing crisis? We have, like, yes, you can be against this war, but that's not, like, look, this war is happening. It's happening. It's give you guys the information of what happened. If you guys choose to reject that, then okay, that's on you. I'll go to the next person, because we know for a fact that America lies. America just what was the Secretary of State? They just confirmed that we have bio labs in Ukraine, and now they're saying, oh no, we don't. We know this. We have a history, a track record of lying, not only on Russia, China. Like, hold on. Can I share this real quick? Let me
go ahead.
Share screen.
Ron will get right to it. And like, why would any? And this is what. Go ahead, Ron.
Look. Remember, back in not even too long ago, everybody was talking about China is trying to take over Africa. China is taking over Africa. They're taking over airport Hold on. Hold on. Boom. Uganda, they're taking over the airport in Uganda. Who owns the airport in Uganda right now, today? They lie, and all they do is project every fucking time. Even like we were just talking about the biolabs. China comes out against it. Even America, their people even said something about it. We know. Maybe they can lie because they have a big enough platform to lie to millions of people. Niggas is gonna fall for this bullshit. But it is confirmed. And now they're trying to go back and say, oh, no, we didn't say that. There isn't anything over there. Bullshit. You guys lie and you will kill anybody to get your way. Hold on. I got let me see this.
Hey, bro, I know you got receipts. You got receipts for days, bro. You got receipts for days.
Because these motherfuckers, remember when we lied about Gaddafi? Remember, we lied about that.
Yeah, well, and people still
And now look,
America. I
they
mean,
they told us that they was getting killed over there. They was bombing their own people, which was already was disproven not only by journalists, by actual people that's in the U.S. Senate, like Tulsi Gabbard already exposed this, and now them same Americans that them same politicians that said that people are being killed, Africans are being killed, are getting Africans killed and sold off into slave labor. Who the fuck do you trust? Who got a real track record of being a fucking liar here?
Zoya, what was you about to add earlier? What would you I want to get Zoya in here.
well, you got a $50 super chat.
Yeah, let's get to that. Thank you, Amanda. Starting out strong. Thank you for the support. Super thankful for the work you are doing. Someone has to debunk this shit, right? Your voices of reason are much needed in the sea of bullshit that is taking over leftist media. Looking forward to the show. This is gonna be a good one, man. We got Rome here. You know what I mean? We're relaxing. We got to debunk Western propaganda. We are the enemy of Western chauvinists. Like, if you're repeating Western propaganda about the Ukraine-Russian conflict, you are not anti-imperialist. Are we clear? You guys are siding with a global economic order that is all about expansion and dominance. Mm-hmm. The ideology, as Margaret Kimberly in Black Alliances for Peace explained, their ideology for the last few decades has been full spectrum dominance, the dominance of neoliberal capitalism at all costs. The same people you guys are cheering for literally sided with the Portuguese. When the Portuguese were colonizing Africa, during a wave of anti-colonial sentiment, they had uprisings to try to free themselves from the colonial Portuguese, who did insane crimes, including torture and rape of the African people who were fighting for freedom. NATO supplied Portugal with military assistance and financial assistance in order to continue their colonial regime. But you guys are cheering for Ukrainian people to die, fighting for a war, so this system can expand. But people are too afraid to call this out because I don't want to be called a Putin sympathizer. Yep. I don't want to be called tanky. At Revolutionary Blackout, we don't give a fuck. I don't give like if you're a Western chauvinist, if you back the NATO establishment in global economic order, you are not my friend. You are not the friend of Black people. You are not the friend of any colonized people or the working class. What has NATO done for the last few years for the global poor? Don't worry, I'll wait. What have they done? What are the resources for the global poor other than extract their wealth?
Sanctions.
Constantly siding with companies like Nestle and providing them defense. They provide child slave labor. They provide shield for companies who violate any sort of moral Western law. But if you're part of NATO, they don't give a fuck. If you don't,
it's not about choosing a side. Somebody here just said, I'm not choosing a side between Biden and Putin. That's not what we're trying to do. What our mission is to give you the information that you guys need. You know what I'm saying? So we can actually have a good understanding. Why is it like this? Now we know this isn't this didn't just happen in the first couple of months or last couple months. This has been happening for many years now. You know, Ukraine and NATO working together, trying to not only build bio labs close to Russia's border, but they have been pushing militant people closer to Russia's border. Also, who is giving them the money? Who is funding them? America. Okay, well, let me set up. That's just like if me and you didn't like each other, right? And I came on your block, a block like a block away, a couple of steps away. I'm like, I'm not in your block. I'm not in your hood. But my niggas just start setting up shop. We getting guns, and we start taking over buildings. We're not on your block though. But this whole time we setting up. What are y'all doing over here? Hold on, let me check this out. What's going on? Oh wait, it's nothing. It's nothing. Burn the documents. If they were so innocent, why wouldn't they just be like, look, this is what we're doing, Russia? We're actually trying to help you guys. We're trying to help Ukraine. If that was the thing, if this was just some college lads that they were building, they should have no problem with turning over that information, which they should, because we are on a whole different continent here. You guys aren't the police of the world, whether you like it or not. So you have to answer to certain powers when you're going so far. So fuck yes, Putin has every right to check what the hell is going on. What are y'all doing? Why y'all getting so close to my house?
So the thing is, and this is what people get propagandized into thinking, our position is not pro-Putin. It's not anywhere near pro-Putin. We're anti-imperialists. And let me explain this. The people who are the hashtag stand with Ukraine, aka send Ukrainians weapons so they can die fighting the military they stand no chance against. You guys understand that's what the stand with the Ukraine people, that's their position. Their position is, I support the Ukrainian people, so I'm gonna send weapons to them and use them as human shields and as a force to fight the Russians on our behalf. That's the stand with the Ukraine position. So I'm an anti-imperialist. I want to end this conflict, which started when? 2014. Not Russia invading Ukraine, which as someone who's anti-war, I want any solution that does not involve death and violence. But a lot of people say, okay, what can they do with the aggressive NATO? They're bombing and killing 14,000 people in Donbass, which no one ever brings up. So if you're anti-war, if you're anti-imperialist, why aren't you trying to stop that? Why are you trying to continue a conflict by arming the Ukrainian people?
They're not anti-war. They're anti-white people getting hit by bombs, because they will say, "Oh well, stop the war," but then they go and say we need NATO, which does nothing but expands war, bloodshed. Where's you getting your logic from?
No, Putin. Go ahead, Zoya.
These are the same people that support cops, and these are the ones that always want to call somebody, and it's all performative. I stand with Ukraine. You stand with, I have to tell my friend, you stand in North Hollywood. This is all performative bullshit, and you guys want to feel right when you don't know anything about the actual conflict. And 14,000 deaths, by the way, is probably underreported, because it's a war zone. So the death toll is probably much larger. And it started 8 years ago. None of you cared. All of a sudden, America loves a scapegoat. That's all it is. And you really think that being xenophobic towards Russian people is going to affect Putin? Putin doesn't care what you guys think. It's ridiculous. It's like, being hateful towards Americans is going to go do something to Biden. I mean, you guys have so much cognitive dissonance. It's really scary. And a lot of people that, wanted to advertise themselves as anti-fascists, they are exposing themselves as just being anti-Republicans. And they're so easy to flip because they have no moral compass. They have no consistency. They never understood imperialism, and they don't want to accept that America is the worst terrorist on earth. We have so much blood on our hands. For us to criticize anyone else is despicable. 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 Look at your own country. Go protest what's happening here. Cops shoot 3 people a day, and you think that you need to worry about what's happening in Ukraine or Russia? That's none of your business.
Hey, Zoya, they talk about Zoya. They're like their government, their society is controlled by oligarchs. They got Russian oligarchs.
Gee, what would that be like?
Or this is my favorite. All these people are dictators. They live under dictatorship. I'm like, look, you really want to get down to it. We live under a dictatorship. They just give you the illusion of choice. But we have been ran under the same families for generations now. We live under a dictatorship. They just think that they just let you guys think that you have a choice and what goes on here, but you have no, like, even that study that was done in Harvard when they said public option has zero to little effect on laws that's getting passed. So that you live under corporate fascism, or you know what I'm saying, some type of dictatorship, because these families have been running America for generations now. For generations. At least they don't lie and say, well, let's put somebody else up when the same nigga is still really in power.
People say, and I don't like any of these motherfuckers. I don't like any of these states. All these people corrupt. But the same people who will vote for Joe Biden will say stuff like, oh, Putin is a authoritarian dictator who crushes dissent, as if we don't imprison 1/4 of the world's prison population. You guys know that the people who are protesting the police in the George Floyd protest, they're being tracked and monitored by the police right now. But tell me more about Putin crushing dissent. There's nothing compared to us. Nothing compared to us. So my position is, as someone who lives in the imperial core, this is why you cannot say it's pro-Putin, because the people who are under Putin reign, well, I got an update for you guys, because the West tactics are actually counterproductive. I got numbers I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna say this segment for you guys later, so stay tuned. So there is this narrative that people have, like, oh my God, the Russians are fed up with Putin. No. The Russians now see the West as a hostile force now because of your stupid sanctions. So instead of casting Putin as this enemy that the Russian people are going to uprise against, that's not happening. Only 6% of Russians see this war as Putin's fault. Do you guys know that? Do you got 6%? I'm going to show you guys the poll here very soon. But the people who are against Putin, who argue that he should do different things, their argument is valid. Now, as someone who's a victim of someone who lives in the imperial core, I know Aaron Mate, for example. He said he thinks Russians could have leveraged the Nord Stream pipeline agreement and used that instead of going to war. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is, guys, our government and our ruling class is willing to starve our people because of this war. So I don't think that would have worked. Like, what they say? Oh, we're gonna hold this pipeline against you. We're gonna jack up the prices of gas. They're just doing it now. Yep. So I am asking, and this is once again not me saying that Putin is right here. I am asking people, instead of just blindly saying, "Oh, Putin should have done this," what is the alternative here? You have an encroaching NATO that is bombing 14,000 people in the Donbass, that is arming the most radical people in the region that are neo-Nazis. And if you want to end the war, what Putin demands is demilitarizing the region. Recognize the independence of these areas that the Eastern Ukrainian Nazis have been bombing. How is that not a position that anti-imperialists should support? If you're anti-imperialist, you should support ending the conflict that started in 2014.
Which he was already asking these niggas years ago to stop it. He asked America years ago to stop it. But the thing is, like we already talked about this, how Americans, we are not taught foreign policy for this reason. So we can be filled with hate. But if we was actually taught foreign policy and actually knew our neighbors or neighboring fucking continents, we would actually know what was going on. We would have been put a stop to this. We would have had our voices heard, or we would have never agreed to go to war with these people. Like, holy fuck. Like, even though I don't even know why you guys are even agreeing with America or Like how much shit they just put you guys through. We are in a pandemic, depression, recession, and they did nothing for you guys. They cut you off your unemployment. They cut you off your stimulus check. They told you to go back to work. If anything, we should be using this time to go out and do our anti-war protests. You know what I'm saying? Connect, organize, so we can actually get a real feel and we can really teach what's really going on. Or we can actually talk to people who don't, you know what I'm saying, get one and two together, but they out there, they want to protest, you know, whatever it is. But we need to take this time to do this shit ourselves, because man.
And I once again, I am pro peace. So any other alternative, I think Putin should probably file. And any other alternative I think people think that he should have went for, I am willing to hear out. But and this is someone who's been part of discourse, who's been listening to dialogue. I have not seen anyone suggest an alternative that Putin could have done that would have led to peace. There was, like, once again, well, Aaron Monte has a great take. Does not mean I'm not trying to dig on Aaron, but Aaron said he should use the Nord Stream pipeline. But like, you can't negotiate with people who break their like this person said right here. How do you negotiate with people that always broke on their agreements? How do you negotiate with people that is willing to let their people starve? Because the idea is that you use the pipeline to negotiate with NATO from going against Zelensky and the neo-Nazis in Ukraine. You use that leverage in order to stop the expansion of NATO. But my position is, based on what I've seen, that would have not done shit. You guys know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that Putin is right here, because maybe he had another alternative. What I'm saying, I have not seen one person say the alternative. Because what he wants is demilitarization of the region, the independence of Donbass and Kiev, if I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
And that would end the conflict, because you would de-arm the Nazis. So the people say they're anti-Nazis. Why are you against? And I'm gonna show you guys another receipt, and I'm sure Zoya got a ton as well. We just gave them a ton of fucking javelins. You guys know that? To the Azov battalion, and then they were trying to pretend that they were not who they like. I got receipts for you guys. The media was trying to spin this. We just sent this entire shipment of arms that went straight to the neo-Nazis. But so tell me more about how that's the anti-imperialist position. How is it the anti-imperialist position arming neo-Nazis who are bombing and killed up to 14,000 people in the Donbass? I'm waiting for someone to explain this to me. Not
only that, they are saying, oh, well, you guys should care about the civilians. The same civilians that you guys are letting, you know what I'm saying, these Nazis hold for human shields. They're holding these people. They are gathering up in schools. They're gathering up in recreation buildings. And keeping them under there. I remember they just bombed the bridge and kept the people under there with guns, by gun.
Here's the receipt. I want to share the receipts. I'm going a little bit out of order, but I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Right.
And just really quick, America is talking about sanctioning China for not sanctioning Russia.
Yeah.
That is imperialism.
We're going to get to that. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Zoya. We're going to get to that too. Hopefully you got time, man. There's so much stuff to cover.
Hey, man, stop calling me Mos Def, man. I don't even look like Mos Def. I've been getting that shit all my damn life.
So you guys seen the narrative that I seen all the time on Twitter? People on breaking points is repeating it like crazy. The Russians have had enough of Putin. The Russians, because they're being sanctioned, are siding. Why would you be sanctioned and side with the people who are sanctioning you? That doesn't make sense, and that's never how it works. When you sanction people, you starve them and you create more radicals. Are we clear? This has been U.S. policy for the last few decades, and we have done nothing but create more quote-unquote terrorists. I use quote because we're terrorists too, but you guys get what I'm saying. That's why I use quote, just so you guys know. So this is the results, and if you watch the International Leftist Coalition, we explain how sanctions are counterproductive, even if you disagree with my worldview, even if you agree with full spectrum dominance of the neoliberal NATO global world order. It is counterproductive because their plan is, and they have said this on the corporate media and in the press, they want to get Russians and make Russians feel the pain so they can turn against their government. So classic regime change shit. So this is what the result of this has been. This was confirmed before the war in research by Levada Center, a non-governmental polling firm widely trusted in the West. It just came out 2 days ago. Well, actually, the tweet today. I don't think that exact day of the poll, but more than 60% more than 66% of Russians blame the conflict on America, NATO, or Ukraine. Why do you guys think that is? Because they know the facts that we know. Bro, imagine, and I explained this before. Only 4% said the conflict was Russia's fault. So you guys see how their strategy, even if you disagree with us, it's terrible. It's terrible because all they doing is leaning. Because there's been a faction in Russia that was, and this is kind of like the pro-Putin faction. They've been arguing for a long time, and they've been smeared as far right, or maybe they've been identified as far right accurately, because they were like, the West is coming after us. The West is going to get us. We need to side with China because if we continue to allow the West to expand, we're fucked, right? Now, there are a lot of people in Russia who disagree with Putin because of that. They're like, we don't necessarily agree with that. But when you have the West turn your shit off, where you can't use Apple Pay, like you have Russian businesses that are being destroyed, the Russian citizens are being crushed. Now, even the people who used to look at Putin as someone who was, oh, you're spreading conspiracy theories about the West trying to crush us. Now those people are like, oh shit, he was right. They can turn our shit off just like that. So even if you disagree with their concept, you can see where they're coming from.
You see how they did Canada.
And I'm gonna explain another concept to you people, because a lot of people want to erase our context. They want to pretend Russians are inherently evil and violent. The same way they did to our people, Rome. The same way they used to justify atrocities against people like Jews, black people, Latinos. They're like, oh, these people are inherently bad and their people are inherently wrong, and they are doing stuff unprovoked. They have no good reason to do it. That is not true. Even if you disagree with the Russians, that is not true. Let me explain to you guys why. Let me give you guys a history lesson, because I was more into history before I was into politics. So why would the Russian people be concerned with a hostile militaristic force stockpiling weapons for hostile forces next to their border? Let's go back a few centuries to a man called Napoleon Bonaparte. Am I saying his name right? Napoleon, who marched into Russia, took a shit ton of territory, raped, killed, and pillaged a ton of Russian people, right? So that happened like, what, 250 years ago? So then, 100 years later, you have the Nazis, who do the same thing Napoleon does, but they reach all the way to Moscow, raped and killed millions of people. So your history as a culture is trauma. And we're talking about millions of people that was killed less than 100 years ago. People talk about like World War II like this shit was a long time ago. There are people who are alive today that seen this shit happen. Mm-hmm. You guys act like this is a long time ago. There are people who are alive in Russia who know people who died in World War II. I guarantee it. Yeah. So this is a trauma of the people who have been conquered and invaded multiple times, and you guys don't understand why they have a zero tolerance for NATO and militaristic buildups of Nazis on their border. I understand that. My criticism as someone who's anti-war is I wish they could find another alternative. But I'm gonna keep asking the question: what was it? Once you understand their people.
Oh, but Nick, it's only like what 50 to 200 something for Nazis in. I don't know. You know, we can't just kill all of them just because of 200 something. Like, look, I haven't saw not near one picture without them having the black sun, Nazi symbols. Even some of them even had tattoos of the shit. And I've been reporting on it myself. I'm seeing it. They are telling me, don't believe your lying ass eyes. Basically, because everything that I see coming out the Ukrainian government as of coming out the war is Nazis. And not only that, it's them bombing or striking their own buildings to not let Russia get a hold of some type of information, right? All right then, but all I see is bad shit coming out of that, coming out of the far right out of there. And look, they gotta go. They're gonna be here next. If we don't take care of them now, you know what I'm saying? Then America gonna ship them over here on Operation Paperclip ×2, 2.0.
They're already here. There's already been a bunch of pieces exposing that there was neo-Nazis who participated in actions here that trained in Ukraine. So there is a connection. So for people who say, well, we have Nazis here too, that's great. Yeah, and they have a connection, and that is their safe haven in Ukraine. And for people who say, oh, that's a sovereign country, it hasn't been a sovereign country since 2014. It's been a NATO puppet with an installed regime. So there is no sovereign country there, and most people know that. And if you want to just use a little bit of logic, why is the second largest country in Europe the poorest? It is full of resources, and yet it is poor.
Right.
Look at the super chat. All invasions of Russia went through Ukraine. And I played a video before of Biden saying 20 years ago, everyone who actually knows anything about this, they pretend they don't know now because they're doing propaganda. Everyone knows, everyone knew that Ukraine was a non-starter. That's when shit was going to hit the fan. That's why I'm holding my government accountable. The imperial core I'm about, right? And one last thing I want to say this to Zoya's point, and then I actually got to get to this. I got to get to some stories. Still, I got a lot of stuff prepared for you guys. This is what the Stand With Ukraine people say, the Nazi arming supporters say. They'll say, oh, well, Russia, they technically have Nazis too. So that somehow erases the fact that we're supporting Nazis. So let me ask you guys this question. When the UN decided to condemn Nazism, who was the only two countries who voted against the referendum to condemn Nazism? The United States and the Ukraine. Did Russia? Actually, Russia, they actually put that up. They're the one who put that vote up every single time. You guys know that? So yes, Russia, like every country, has a racism problem. And I'm sure they have neo-Nazis. But what government is actually sponsoring them? That's actually voting against condemning them.
Have them in the military. Have them in branches in the military.
No, let me break this down, please. I've been doing this every night, like 50
Go ahead.
times.
Go, your turn. It's your turn. Go ahead. Go off.
There's no comparison. Hundreds of monuments have went up to Nazis. Street signs have been changed to Nazi names in every single city. Textbooks in schools have been changed to glorify Nazism and Nazi collaborators that actually participated in murdering Soviets, Jews, Poles, Romanis, everybody during World War II. Okay, so this is institutionalized. And they are in government, they are in power, they are armed, and they've been ethnically cleansing Russian-speaking regions, which Russian was made illegal to even speak. That's for Russian speakers. Can you understand if English was made illegal to speak right now and you were being killed simply for living in a region? Let's say just California. Oh, you're just guilty of living in California. Hundreds of shellings every single day. Water cut off, electricity cut off, food cut off. And this is recorded for people who think like, oh, that's just Russian propaganda. This is recorded by UNICEF, Amnesty International, Red Cross for 8 years. Check their sources. These are Western-aligned organizations, and they've been reporting on this forever. And there's footage all over YouTube from the last 8 years from the ground. Kids are going to little Nazi youth camps. Right now, that's it. 8 years in, we have an entire generation raised on Nazi propaganda. So tell me where else in any country all of that is happening.
Wasn't it? I remember there was a story, and we're going to get to the neo-Nazi stabbing too. Because you guys know, we've just been talking for 40 minutes. I barely got into any of the stories today. I have a lot of receipts to show you that back up everything that we're going to get to. Because I know there are a lot of Standing With Ukraine people that are probably watching this video seething right now because they're hearing stuff they never heard before. I'm going to show you guys receipts on this. There are people that think Putin's objective is to take over Ukraine. That is what they think is happening. That is not what's happening. Russia has been clear on their demands. Demilitarizing the region, which as a leftist, and as an anti-imperialist, especially as a fucking communist, you should be against Nazis having fucking arms. Like that's a Basic communist principle.
That's like the first thing you learn. Communists beat the Nazis.
We are against the Nazis. That is the fucking point. So you have that ask, and then you have to ask, no NATO expansion, a neutral Ukraine, which is a sensible point of view, considering how polarized the state is. You do not introduce a polarized nation to NATO. That goes against the original charter. Like, when people talk about this issue, they pretend they know none of this shit. But I really need to get to the receipts. Zoya, I want to get you back in here. Do you have anything else you want to add while I prepare?
Yeah,
the first segment.
I just see some people in the chat, talking about, well, it's 14% per this source of neo-Nazis. No, listen to me. I am from Odessa. I am talking to people that live there. A lot of them are ashamed and don't want to admit that they're Nazis. So they're pretending like they're ultra nationalists. But you don't have to look any further than the insignia on every building, in the malls, on uniforms, on t-shirts, and it is Nazi insignia. The statues are of Nazi leaders. That's it. This is institutionalized. It's spread through the country like a cancer. It doesn't mean that every single last Ukrainian is a Nazi. There are people caught up in this messed up situation. But after 8 years of propaganda, the general sentiment in the country has shifted. And Putin and Russia has been made into a boogeyman in Ukraine too. So people feel like they're defending themselves from these invaders at any cost. And another thing I want to point out is the people in Kiev do not know what's happening in Donetsk. That's what I know from talking to people directly. They have no idea about the ethnic cleansing that's been happening for 8 years. So that's why they're acting like victims.
I'm like, but Zoa, I'm like, you want to talk about invader? How in the fuck is America over there anyway? How why are we even in this fucking conversation? We are talking about some stuff that's happening on the other side of the world. We shouldn't have any say-so on this at all.
Exactly, 100%. It's such American, like perverted a sense of superiority. We're right. Does this country have to tell any other country what to do? America has invaded and destroyed and colonized so many places. Tell me where Russia has done that.
Like we said, our enemies live here. I'm focused. I know, even if, like, what's going to happen? Think about what's going on now. How much hurt and shit that we're going through now. We're losing homes, we're losing livelihoods, right? Okay, America bring down other superpowers around the world. Does that mean it's going to get better for you or not? I'm telling you, you let America get some more strongholds. You let America get stronger. You let the military get bigger if you want.
Rome asked a great question.
It's not going to get better for us at all. They're going to use this power to hit it down on you. And this is like, you see how they took down RT and Russia News and whatever? Like, that's for you. That's for you. When you ever feel like, oh, I figured it out. They're like, hit the button. They're just getting ready. They're getting ready. And they don't want a lot of the truth getting out of there. When we have real people talking, you know what I'm saying? We have real Russians and people from Ukraine talking and saying, like, you know, this is what's really going on. These Nazis have been holding us here and this and that. We've seen this shit with the black people trying to escape. You know, they don't want that shit getting out because they got an agenda. They got propaganda to push. But let them lose this, because, you know, white supremacy losing a leg, that's better for us. That's better for us as American citizens. That's better for other nations all around the world. They won't have such a stronghold. You know, we're seeing that other countries are ignoring them or fighting back against them, or they have to bow and tip their hat and say, please, can I have some oil? Can I have some more, sir? You know, so just let them lose this one, and we can actually get a control. We probably can actually get a grip on our fucking communities and our government here, you know, and maybe we can fight their ass once America, Russia, and China done tearing their asses up.
And just to go to the point of how prevalent this is in Ukraine, I saw today, and I just dropped in our private chat a link to a tweet. Well, let's read it just for people to clearly see it, because this is out of the horse's mouth. This is the Ukrainian ambassador himself.
I guess I'll read it. Also, the Ukrainian ambassador addresses racist abuse of Black and Asian refugees. Something else that a lot of people are trying to pretend it's not happening. The racists in Ukraine are blocking Indian and African people from moving to Ukraine, right? I don't know how to say that guy's name. Do you know how to say that, Zoya? Vadim
Pristaiko.
Damn, that's nice. I need to learn another language. So select committees that problems arise when foreigners appear to prioritize for evacuation. Calls for racial segregation at borders to address issues. Hello? He said what? He said what?
It gets worse.
He said calls for racial segregation at border.
Yeah,
okay.
No big deal, you know.
Just a little bit of segregation. Maybe we'll just put all foreigners in some other place so they won't be visible. Wow. And then there won't be conflict with Ukrainian trying to flee in the same direction. Ukraine is a very homogenic society, and not many people with different races are in the streets. Foreigners do stick out in the crowd, but it doesn't mean we are racist. Yeah, I did. Whenever you guys say that part, that's how you know you got a banger, right?
This nigga racist as fuck.
But Ukraine, man, we don't want to go there, Rome. That's all I'm gonna say. We don't want to go there. And there has been reporting about like Ukraine has been like a safe haven for a lot of like neo-Nazi sympathizers, where they just kind of go there and they go to the motherland of Nazism to fight. I think that's what a lot of people are doing now, to be honest. I think some people know what's going on. I think they know what's up. They see the Azov. Well, it wasn't even Azov, right? It was literally the official Ukrainian Twitter account.
Yes.
Some like they was like, we greasing bullets with Muslim. Like, do you guys know? You guys see that tweet?
Yeah, they dipped their bullets and actually somebody on my Twitter page just said the American government, the U.S. military does that also. They dip their bullets in lard to go fight Muslim people, people that have the Muslim religion. So.
Yeah, because they say you're not going to go to heaven on our land, because as if they shoot them with, pig fat on these bullets, then they won't be allowed to get into heaven. It's just some twisted thing. It's not even grounded in reality. That's not how the religion works. But it's this disgusting, xenophobic, tactic to intimidate people.
Yeah. So I want to get to. We're almost an hour in. I still haven't even gotten to any of our segments, so this should be fun. So now you guys get the context and see where we're coming from. Now it's time for us to pull out the receipts. Now it's time for you guys to see, now I know what you guys are talking about. Now I know what you're talking about. So let's start from the very beginning. On why it's important to resist NATO expansion as an anti-imperialist. In Rome, Zoya, feel free to interrupt me at any time. I'm just going in presentation mode right now. So there are a lot of people who are confused. They didn't read Lenin. They don't know anything about the history of colonial struggle. They don't understand what it really means to be anti-imperialist, resisting a global economic order that is imposing its dominance on other people. Mm-hmm. Now, there are a lot of people who talk about the Ukraine crisis, a lot of people who talk about the Russian-Ukraine crisis, and they never mention full spectrum dominance. Go ahead, guys. I got a trick. If you're talking to a liberal, if you're talking with someone who got hashtag stand with Ukraine, one of these fucking propaganda puppets, ask them, what is full spectrum dominance? And they won't tell you. You guys want to know what full spectrum dominance is? Full spectrum dominance is the ideology that the neoliberal class has had for the last few decades, especially since the fall of the USSR, which after that happened, NATO had no reason to exist. Because NATO was meant to keep the USSR in check. And also was an anti-communist, colonial, white power. Which is another reason why, if you're anti-imperialist, you should never support NATO. Are we clear? So there are a lot of people who by extension, are supporting the expansion of NATO. Because they say, we must resist Putin's demands. What is Putin's demands? Putin's demands is to stop the eastward expansion of NATO and to demilitarize the region. So can we think for a second? How is that the anti-imperialist position resisting that? How is it the anti-imperialist position resisting the expansion of an organization that is literally designed to smuggle weapons and make weapon defense contractors rich? That's why they want Ukraine to be in this. That's why they want to expand so they can sell more weapons. Why are you an anti-imperialist, but you don't understand this? So, Caitlin Johnstone, one of my favorite political writers, who've been shattering Western narrative, she explains the concept of full spectrum dominance. Caitlin Johnstone here, amazing writer. The U.S. empire has had a standing policy of preventing the rise of any rival superpowers since the USSR collapsed. Both Moscow and Beijing has refused to kiss the imperial ring, and crippling Russia is an essential part of hamstringing China's rise. This was planned years ago. Now this is a long thread. I'll read a few more. Gilbert Doctorow described back in 2017 how Moscow and Beijing have formed a mutual beneficial tandem based on their respective strength. Russia is a major military force willing to confront the U.S. empire. China is a rising economic superpower. Now, she goes into great detail. Actually, maybe I should read a little bit more. Yeah, let me read this one. When I say the U.S. empire has had a standing policy of preventing the rise of any major rival superpower since the fall of the USSR, I mean the policy was explicitly laid out in writing within months of the Soviet Union dissolution. Now, this is the concept of full spectrum dominance that we talk about. This is the U.S. strategy plan, calls for ensuring no rivals develop. So I am asking the people who are getting this shit wrong on purpose because they're like, oh my God, I am anti-war, I'm anti-Putin, I'm anti-imperialist, I am a virtue signal. Meanwhile, you are supporting, you live in the imperial core, the Western imperial core. But you are supporting the expansion of this just because you don't want Putin to have a geopolitical victory. Are you guys clear on what we're doing here?
If they was anti-war, they will be coming up with any kind of strategy to overthrow the American government.
There it is. But the same way you have, quote unquote, and I'll show you guys the polls. I'll show you guys the polls so you guys know. I don't know where they find these protests, but there are people protesting. We must respect that.
Yeah.
Let them hold Putin accountable. Once again, Putin not killing my people. They're not arming fascist thugs with badges and uniforms that are tasering and killing our people. So why is the focus on that? Because they're not really
they just gave out enough money to give everybody health care and weapons. Like they will literally put money into killing you, into killing other people, than to really take care of us. Because like I said earlier, they're gonna squeeze us until we drown, they're gonna throw us away. They don't give a fuck about y'all. They're making money.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about us. So once again, why as a leftist, and why as an anti-imperialist, why as an anti-capitalist, am I taking the position I am that you guys see a lot of people are too afraid to do it. A lot of people are way too afraid to say what I'm saying right now. Because as an anti-imperialist, a real anti-imperialist, as someone who actually care about taking care of my community, you have people that are justifying sanctioning the American people to stand with Ukraine. Do you guys know what side you guys are taking? Let me show you guys this. Because you guys have seen this new PSYOP that has dropped, right? Because you guys are so anti-imperialist, you guys are so anti-capitalist, you guys are so leftist. You guys now support taxing the American people. You have these shit libs. They are millionaires.
I'll be right back. I can't.
You got these people who are millionaires. They are advocating for a sanction on the American people. And I'm telling you, if you're watching this, please repeat it like that. Please. That is what is happening. When wages do not go up, but inflation goes up, but then you have our government who's literally trying to hurt the American people and want us to pay more because we're supposed to be patriots, we're supposed to stand up against Putin. That's a sanction on the working class. Are we clear? So you guys wonder why are you criticizing Putin? Why are you so busy criticizing NATO? Why are you so busy criticizing Biden in the United States? Because this shit is affecting our communities. We are being sanctioned. We are paying more because just like every single empire of old, they overextend the empire because they're making a ton of money, once again, trading weapons through NATO. But the people starve. We starve. But you guys want to put hashtag stand with Ukraine so the people can pay more because you're a fucking bloodthirsty moron who wants Russians to pay. That's what it's about. People are so Russophobic that they willing to destroy the working class in order to sanction the working class just so Russians can be hurt. How is that the anti-imperialist position? I am demanding the answer to that.
There are no anti-imperialist sanctions. Let's just be clear. You can't be anti-imperialist and support sanctions. Sanctions hurt people. But ultimately, what America is doing with its sanctions is it's just pushing Russia closer to China, who are already natural allies. Everything that they're trying to do with Visa and MasterCard pulling out, next day, Russia's just switching over to Chinese systems. And out of this, United States hegemony is going to be ruined. But I just dropped a tweet where Nicolas Maduro speaks on it, and he addresses this very point. And he says that the World War has already begun, and it's economic.
And we've been talking about this on the International Leftist Coalition. I had the video pulled up, and that's gonna be the next one we play. I do want to watch the Stephen Colbert, show you guys what's the ideology that's coming from the warmongers. And then we get to the Nicolas Maduro video because I actually didn't play it. So look at this insane shit. But once again, I can rip on some Gen Z people for liking Vosh and liking Hassan. But I remember there was a point where I thought Stephen Colbert was legit when he had his old show. So I take that when I was a young and dumb person, I thought he was legit. The same way that there are a lot of people who think like a lot of these fucking Twitch people are legit. I had my phase too. And now look at this. He's the worst now. Like Stephen Colbert is among the worst. Look at this clip. Let me fix it. What? That does not even make sense. That I want to pay more in gas from Saudi Arabia that killed journalists and one of the biggest human rights offenders in the world because I want to have a clean conscience and oppose Russia and Putin and Russia. How does that even make sense? Let alone the insanity that he's saying. So at first he was like, how are we going to take Saudi Arabia oil? And then say we were taking more high ground. But I want to pay more though because I want more. Like what? Also, he's a multi-millionaire. Like how much is Stephen Colbert worth? He's like worth, let me see. I'm going to look up Stephen Colbert net worth. And this has been something that's been going on. $75 million. $75 million. Holy shit. $75 million. And I want to pay more in taxes. This is the same shit they did during COVID. When you had all these millionaires and billionaires, they stuck at home. Oh, poor me. I'm stuck in my millionaire mansion with all my servants and cooks and chefs that cook with me. And then they're like, don't worry, guys. I know there are a lot of restrictions. I know we're going through a lot of pain, but we're in this together. We are in this together. No, we are not. If you're worth 75 million people, $75 million, we are not in this shit together. George Takei. I don't know how the fuck you say his name.
I don't know.
But even he was like, it's our American patriotic duty to pay more in taxes to resist Putin. Coming from the multimillionaire. I cannot play a better clip. And this could not be a better example of why I tell you guys liberals are not our friends. These same people who are like, I am willing to impose the sanctions on the American people. I want to sanction the American people to oppose Putin. These same people, swear to God, are the same people who like, I don't believe we should support BDS. BDS is anti-Semitic. You guys are boycotting Israel. What did Israel do? They only demolished Palestinian homes. They're only bombing Syria as you speak. They only executed journalists and children without trial. They only committing ethnic cleansing of the area. So they are against the the sanctions and the boycott against Israel for what they're doing in Palestine. But all of a sudden, they want us to suffer because of what Putin is doing, trying to end the civil war. So this is the last thing I want to say. There's some more examples because I gave you guys the celebrity takes. But I'm showing you guys this because even these are bots. I want you guys to understand bots are programmed by people. So even if these people are bots, this is the talking points that are coming from the Democratic Party. So I'm gonna read these out. I'm gonna read these out. This is the white shitlib response to the working class that is like, why the fuck are you guys sanctioning us and demanding us to pay more in gas for a conflict that has nothing to do with us? You guys are not willing to pay more in gas to stop police for killing people. You guys are not willing to make sacrifices for Palestinians, not for Afghans. But you guys see people with you see blonde hair, blue-eyed people, and all of a sudden these liberals like, I wanted to pay $50 a gallon. Check this out. This comes from Jeff. You see, you got the blue wave icon. Your financial priorities are a little screwed up if $1 or $2 hike per gallon for gas is going to bankrupt you, but you can still pay almost $35 a gallon for a gallon of coffee. I'm gonna read some more. One less venti caramel matcha frappuccino a day, and you'll be
this
just
the new
fine.
motherfucking avocado? Is this a new avocado?
I don't fucking know. I don't know none of this shit. I just drink green tea.
Yeah.
The national average for a gallon of gas is $4.17. A gallon of Starbucks coffee is worth $16.80. Just saying. One more. Gas prices are ridiculous. Pay $7 for Starbucks coffee. Do you guys see what the liberals are saying? And this is why we got to say this is a sanction on the working class. Why the fuck I don't drink Starbucks. I don't like drinking expensive coffee and that kind of shit. Why the fuck are you judging what working class people do? Why do working class people have to make a sacrifice in order to accomplish your global economic order?
After we already made sacrifice after sacrifice. Actually, let me share this last thing, actually, because it's hilarious.
But what are you sharing?
It's some real quick. It's only like 5 seconds, actually.
Go ahead.
It's ridiculous having to copy all this by hand. We should have it printed.
We could get help from one of the groups in the liberal movement.
No. Don't trust the liberals. They will betray you.
Then I'll ask Lydia.
That's what they're doing. That's perfect. That's perfect to share because that's what the liberals are doing. They are betraying you. So why? And once again, I don't have to make judgments. If you're a comrade, if you're a socialist and a communist, and we talked about this before, Rome, right? And this is the best example I can give you guys. If you're giving money to the homeless, if you're a communist, you're a socialist, we are just giving money to the homeless. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm not giving money to the homeless and like, I don't want you to spend. You better not spend this on alcohol. You better not spend this on fun. There's a lot of people that say this. I won't donate to a homeless person because I know they'll just spend it on booze. The position of a socialist and communist is like, I don't give a fuck what they spend it on. I'm here to provide relief to people. So I personally disagree with spending a ton of money on Starbucks. But if you're a working class person working 60 hours a week and that helps you get by, who the fuck are you to pass judgment on the working class? Why even if you personally disagree with that, why is your political worldview? You have to make personal sacrifices that make your life harder. Because even though I disagree with the Starbucks thing, whatever that is making your life easier. The same way you see me and Rome smoke on stream. That's our vice. They got their vice. You telling people that they got sacrifice because I want NATO to expand. You guys understand? That's why I'm going crazy, right? And I'm sorry. I'm gonna pass it back to Zoe and Rome. I know I've been going for a while, but I had to do this segment here because this is what they were asking you. If you guys watching this stream, you guys think I'm radical as fuck. Listen, this is what they're asking you to do. This is the meme I tweeted out, and this is what liberals want us to repeat. I'm willing to pay more for gas in order to continue the eastward expansion of NATO. You guys understand? That is what they're at. That's what they're doing. Because once again, go back. What is Putin asking for? Putin wants to demilitarize the region and stop the expansion of NATO. He wants to use a neutral Ukraine. But the people who say #stand with Ukraine, they want Ukrainian citizens to die to stop Putin's demands, which is essentially to stop the expansion of NATO. So these people, Stephen Colbert, he wants you to pay a shit ton of gas because he wants a need for expansion in NATO. Do you guys understand this issue now? And why we coming at it the way we are? And why I have nothing but disdain for the cowards who are getting this shit wrong. They're cowards. They're the people who in 2001, Kyle Kalinske, Crystal Ball, all these people breaking points, all these people who claim they're anti-imperialist, anti-war, but they're purposely getting this wrong. I promise you they will got 2001 wrong too. It's wild. What do you guys thoughts? I got some more to share about it. I know I went for a while, but I wanted to present that story. Thank you guys for being patient. Zoe, I want to get Zoe in here. Zoe, what you have anything else you want to add?
Well, we have a country that's been indoctrinated by propaganda and billionaire porn. So we have a populace that's just trained to defend authoritarians and billionaires. Now, imagine if Colbert in that clip had come out and said exactly the same thing, but for Medicare for all. Like, guys, yeah, it's going to cost us. We're going to have to sacrifice a little bit, but we're going to get everybody healthcare. And then get a round of applause for that from everybody. But no, social issues are demonized. Somehow taking care of people is bad, but bombing other countries, that's right. Round of applause. It's just cognitive dissonance. It's so, really American.
I have one more thing I actually do want to show you guys. I'm kind of going out of order, but this is a fun stream. Actually, I'll say this for I won't get Rome. Do you have anything else you want to add? Man, I'm kind of going out of order. Because Rome muted. But the liberals.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was muted.
Yeah, go ahead, Rome. Go ahead. I got the next part.
I was watching, as you can see, I was commenting. I just have to go use the bathroom. But I'm like, I'm glad that y'all brung up not trusting liberals in this time, because every time we are in, like, history shows that liberalism ushers in fascism every time. So this isn't the time to listen to liberals for anything, foreign policy, any fucking thing. They will lead you to your demise. I'm telling you. And what's going to happen where the Ukrainian military get outnumbered, or you know what I'm saying? They have to run away. They're gonna have open arms for these people who have Nazi tattoos, you know what I'm saying, who have Nazi alliances and whatnot. They're gonna have open arms for these people. Where are they gonna have jobs at? In your local police departments. You know, like, don't listen to the liberals. This isn't the time to listen to liberals. This isn't the time to you know, like I was saying, like me and Nick was saying earlier, we're just trying to give you the information that you need. And if you're gonna take any sides, please do not listen to them, because they don't give a fuck about you. You know, they gave us Hitler, and they gave us this war. They gave us this war that we are in. They gave us the wars that we are in. Like somebody just said earlier, he bombed Syria, Somalia, and another country in his first 11 days just being president. Like, don't listen to them.
I want to get Zoe in here. I want to give you an opportunity to present.
Motherfucker.
I have another segment I want to do, because at this point I'm going to go get some segments as well. Because I also got a lot to share to you guys, because there's so much to share. Like, I cannot believe how people are getting this shit wrong. Like, we've been doing this wrong less than 1 year. I've been a political commentator for under 2 years now. How can people that have been doing this for 12 to 15 years, like everyone at TYT Network, like Secular Talk, like these people are much more experienced commentators than us, but these people are getting this shit wrong.
That money.
It's money. It's money. You guys think I'm smarter than Kyle Kalinske? You guys think I'm smarter than these people? I'm not. I promise you, I'm a college dropout. I am not smarter than these people.
High school.
You are getting this wrong on purpose. I'm telling you. But Zoe, I'm gonna share this. I'm kind of taking a quick smoke break here, but Zoe, I want to give you a chance to introduce this story, the link you shared, and then I'm going to share my next.
Just really quick, I see people in the comments, which is disappointing because hopefully people who support RBN already know, what time it is. But no, if Putin takes Ukraine, he's going to take other countries. Why don't you flip that and insert America? How many countries have we been taking? Why are you worried about Putin? He's over there, and him holding on to Ukraine is just logistically unrealistic. He's playing chess. He's made his demands known, and it is 100% on Ukraine to accept it now. But because Ukraine is a puppet of NATO, it's not. And as far as even if Ukraine would surrender, then Putin would still dude, you're not a mind reader. Ukraine needs to surrender. It's outgunned. It's outnumbered. Putin has been taking it easy. Understand the size of this military. Go look at the list of the largest militaries in the world. He could have wiped Ukraine off the face of the map. Yes. He's been going slow. He's been minimizing civilian casualties and going after military targets. If he really wanted to conquer the country, he could have done that. He's just making his demands known and going in harder and harder and harder because he's negotiating with the most imperialistic terrorist murderers on earth, and that is NATO. So this moral superiority and vilifying Putin, now I'm not saying that Putin's a good guy. He doesn't need to be. I'm saying that America and NATO are the worst guys. So you cannot side with them. But now let's go to Maduro.
That's what I was saying. He's right next door. They are right next door. If he wanted to drop something to get rid of that country, they all would have been gone. Like if we're talking about invasions and how countries around the world is still pulling bombs out of their soil because of the bombs that we dropped on them, type shit. He could have did that. Right next door, man. He could have just took out a whole bunch of frustration and just got it all over with. But now we see we see, because we are informed that he's taking his time with this. But now, certain military groups is taking the people as human shields, and not only that, they are putting their military men and women inside of these residential areas, knowing that Putin isn't targeting civilians. He's targeting you guys. So
yeah. So
you want to read this? Yeah, you want to read this in context to it?
Yeah, we'd play it, but it's all in Spanish, so we're gonna have to stick to the translation. So President Nicolas Maduro, this is what he's saying in his speech. The world war has already started, and it is economic. The world war in its first economic phase, with sanctions, blockades, uncertainty in the supply of oil, gasoline, iron, steel, wheat, fertilizer, corn, rice, raw materials in general, uncertainty in prices, in the supply of food, raw materials, energy products, in the use of the currency of the financial system to twist the arms of countries and regions. The world war has already started. The economic war has already started. Our warning is not to escalate any further. Our call is for the economic war to not escalate any further and escalate into a military war or into what is worse for humanity and the survival of our species on this planet, into a nuclear war. This is the call I made on Monday. On Monday, we made an assessment of the situation in the world, and there are very dangerous components. Today, there is a war on the southern border of Russia because of those who broke the agreements of Europe, the West, and NATO with Russia. Because of those who tried to surround Russia and target it with nuclear weapons, because of those who announced that Ukraine was going to have nuclear weapons targeting Russia, there are the culprits of the armed conflict. So you're going to call him a Putin puppet now too? Is everybody that's going to comment objectively on the situation somehow automatically siding with Putin or Russia? Or are we just being consistent?
Yeah, and I remember you mentioned earlier, Zoe, about China. The West is now threatening to sanction China because they won't fall for their talking points. They won't. And of course, Venezuela, of course, Nicolas Maduro, of course, China are going to call out NATO and tell the truth about this, considering the fact that you guys have been actively hostile toward China, because once again, go back to what this is all about, the ideology of full spectrum dominance that no one talks about. Rome had a great question earlier. We like, why is the United States even in the Ukraine? That's a good question. Full spectrum dominance, the domination of the neoliberal global order that as anti-imperialists, we must oppose at all costs. And I want to actually I want to get Rome here. Do you have anything else to add? And I also want to get Zoya because I do have another segment I want to do. But Zoya, do you have anything else you want to add to the story you shared?
Well, just really quick, 25% of wheat comes from Ukraine and Russia combined. And the wheat they supply is mostly to other countries, Indonesia, Egypt, other countries. And already the supply chain has been interrupted. So what's happened so far is going to harm people that are the most vulnerable in other countries. We are going to see mass starvation. And people are still cheering for this. Well, it's just cognitive dissonance. America has no right to weigh in here because they orchestrated all of this. If you cannot go back and look at every expert analyzing the situation, by the way, including Biden, including McCain, including your favorite Democrats, they were all saying that if Russia is pushed, if the agreements are broken, there were existing agreements, including the Minsk agreement. If they are violated, you are going to back Russia into a corner and it will respond. And that is what we're witnessing right now.
Yeah, it's funny because the ask that Putin is making is not unreasonable. Neutral Ukraine, stop the suspension of NATO. The argument I have seen, because guys, I promise you, I have not made this. And I'm not doing this live stream. I said we've said a bunch of radical shit because based on the mainstream, based on the Overton window over the last 80 minutes. I have not come to this conclusion without looking at the counter argument. I have been literally looking like, what is the argument against the ask that Russia is making? And you know what the neocons, you know what the liberals, you know what the neo-progressives are saying? They say stuff like, well, you can't give Putin this win if Putin stopped the advancement of NATO and Ukraine. Also, for one, to be clear, a lot of them think that Putin is trying to take over Ukraine. To be clear, a lot of them don't even know the conflict. But a lot of them say, well, if you give in to Putin on this demand, where does it end? If you give Putin this win, he will start claiming other victories. Guys, we have 800 military bases. Rome. We got 800 military bases. But you guys are afraid of a Putin offensive in a country who economy is like the size of California? Like, are we serious? Like, you guys think Putin's gonna take over the world? Is that really what the Stand With Ukraine people think? And I promise you guys, I have been doing research. I've been looking at Stand With Ukraine Twitter, I've been reading the feeds, watching their videos so I can be fair. Because since I'm a political commentator, I got to understand where they're coming from. And I'm telling you guys, these people are psychopaths. No stop. These people want World War III. They want to starve millions of Russians. They want to starve the Americans. They want to starve the working. Like, these people are psychopaths, and I have no tolerance for it. And we are already blacklisted from a lot of people already blacklisted the channel. And I'm telling you, it's gonna get worse because the same people who are cowardly, who won't tell the truth about this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, these motherfuckers crazy," because they're actually telling the truth. That's what it's gonna be.
We've been seeing it. We've been seeing everybody that speaks objectively on this getting censored. It's incredible. Yeah, I've never seen this level of censorship. What's happened to Lee Camp? Mm-hmm. Over a decade, he's been covering things, and this is the thing that pulled the trigger. I am super grateful that this channel is still up. And as far as what people are going to call me, because I see some people in comments saying that I'm going to be called. Listen, comrades, I've been called all sorts of things my entire life. I do not care what imperialists are going to be calling me. I have my stance, and I'm going to speak truth to power, and I'm willing to take that to the streets. And I'm sorry a lot of people are soft and want to be correct online, but I don't care about Twitter. I'm not on any other social media. I don't care what people are going to think of me. I care about history, and I care about standing up for what's right, and I care about opposing NATO and America. We are in the imperial core right here. Our job is right here to oppose NATO and America. And none of you use the same line of thinking. What if America goes into Libya? Where is it going to go into next? What if it goes into Iraq?
Where is it going to stop? When is it going to stop, Zoe? Oh, I thought it clicked me.
Yeah, you go ahead and share your clip, and I want Zoe to go off because I have another segment.
No, I ain't got no clip, but I just wanted to say I do gotta go, but I'm glad that y'all had me. But man, like there's a lot that people gotta learn. We are still learning ourselves, but all we know for right now is that it's deeper than what you digging. You understand me? It's deeper than what you digging. Don't look at it at face value or what these people give you. Or read what these people have wrote, but then listen to their enemies. Man, we have already sacrificed enough for America. We have sacrificed our lives, our kids' lives. You know what I'm saying? Our livelihoods, our mental health, and they still not even taking care of us. I'm telling you, if America get more power, all they are going to do is push it down on the citizens. Look what they are doing with the police departments. Not even checking them. We know that we got white supremacists, open white supremacists in our police department. Some of them are in black neighborhoods. They don't give a fuck. What's gonna happen when those people from the military branches in Ukraine come over here and look for jobs? I'm just saying. That shit always comes back down on us. So let's get our ducks in a row. Let's clean our backyard. Whatever metaphor you need to get your shit together. And then you can criticize whatever the fuck Putin doing. Because Putin do have a strong military. And he has some of the biggest bombs. Yes, him and China put together. That's bad for America, but that's good for us overall. I just told you guys earlier, America losing power is good for citizens because then we can have a better check from the inside on. It won't be so much, you know what I'm saying, like corruption and all this money and all this death going on across the world. It'll be a better check and balance. Not only outside with China growing as a superpower and possibly Russia, hopefully, but with us growing, you know what I'm saying? Parties and certain types of groups to actually come together and do what we need to do to get these people out of power so we can grow and have better relations with countries like Russia, China, et cetera, et cetera. Because we know what we need, and we know we need negotiation. We know we need socialism. We know we need to socialize. But the problem, like I always say, the problem is we try to socialize with our enemies at the negotiation table. And that's where things always get messed up. They always sound the horn. They always blow the horn every time we make a point, every time we try to come together. But we got to get rid of them first. But I thank you for having me, Nick, man. I gotta dip out.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Always good to have. Make sure you guys donate Toll for the Poor. Rome killing the game. Show support to my brother here.
Rome, before you run, Rome, I just want to say I'm 100% the same in person as I am on here as I am online. I'm a real person.
Oh, yeah, we met, and I know that 100%. You know,
Rome was down in Los Angeles a little bit ago, and you know, we hung out, we smoked, we talked about revolution, our favorite subject, and then the next day he asked me, like, he had some homegirl that needed a spot to stay, and right away I was like, okay, roll through, you know. So I am ready to help people in community. I am ready to take action. I don't care about what people are going to judge me as, because they're not the ones taking action. People taking action don't stop to judge.
I'm the only man that beat DMT ass. But no, my tolerance fucked up. That's not funny. But all right, all right.
All right, Ron. All right, homie.
All
Much,
right.
much
Man,
love.
I'm jealous. We gotta do the barbecue this summer. That shit's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
lit.
We definitely are. Oh,
Yeah, Zoya's coming. We gotta drag her there down there too. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna be
Sometime
lit.
this summer, we definitely gotta do that. I'm gonna show you guys this. Based as China, and this is why they're melting down in China, because China telling the truth about this conflict. Is it because they also allies with Russia? Maybe, but they're still telling the truth about it. China blames NATO for pushing Russia-Ukraine tension to breaking point. And as we said before, Biden even himself acknowledged that. Here, I'm gonna share this clip before because I know we probably got some viewers who didn't watch this live stream we did yesterday. But I'm gonna share this for people who have not seen it. This is Biden, and this is what all the military strategists knew. They all knew this.
I think the one place where the greatest consternation would be caused in the short term for admission, having nothing to do with the merit and preparedness of the country to come in, would be to admit the Baltic states now in terms of NATO-Russian, U.S.-Russian relations. And if there was ever anything that was going to tip the balance, were it to be tipped in terms of a vigorous and hostile reaction, I don't mean military, in Russia, it would be that. So the way I look at the calculus here.
You guys want to know how he look at the calculus? He looks at the calculus. He knew this was going to start a war, but you guys know that stocks for Raytheon and multiple defense contractors are through the roof right now. I shared that with you guys the other day. So that's why. Just to wrap it up, everything is about the greed, the money, and about global domination. Yeah, and someone said that clip must be old. Yes, people have known about this, guys. This is not new information. So when people say that Putin's the aggressor, that Putin started this war, you are lying. And that's not being pro-Putin. You are just lying. You can criticize Putin without fucking lying. Can we just do that? Do I go on stream? You guys know I have Joe Biden derangement syndrome, right? So if he, do I go on stream and lie about Joe Biden because I dislike him? No, because I don't have to. So for me, it's super suspicious when you got a guy as corrupt and as evil as Putin, but you guys are so corrupt and evil, you guys can't even criticize him without lying about the conflict, about the history of the conflict, etc., etc. So you have anything else you want to add?
No, I 100% agree with you. I have this tweet. It's pretty short, but I think it's just a heartbreaking thing I want to remind people of. And if it's of a 16-year-old boy that was murdered by Obama's drone strikes in Yemen. And the way the Obama administration justified it was by saying that the boys should have had a more responsible father.
I remember that. That was
these
one
are-
of the things I'm like, all right, I'm done with. Like, that's one of the things like, all right, you're done, Obama. Like, that's unforgivable. But tell me more about Putin, though. But go ahead, Zoya.
I mean, Putin, billionaires are not our friends. I don't care where they stand. I don't care if they're, on the right side of history or the wrong side of history. Billionaires are not our friends. I stand with the working class. I stand with the working class in Russia, in Ukraine, all over the world. But you have to be objective about this conflict, and you have to acknowledge history and acknowledge that agreements were in place between NATO and Russia, and that Russia has every right not to have nuclear armaments on its borders, that is a threat to national security, and they have a right to respond to that threat. But what threat did Iraq or Yemen or Syria or Libya pose to America when they invaded and killed millions, including civilians?
Well said. And I want to address this because I do like to challenge people who try to challenge us, right? Because I want to address this. Anyone who supports war needs to seek help. This person is assuming that we support war. We are on the position of ending the war. Are we? There's so much propaganda. So many people are propagandized. They see our position where we're like, okay, we want to end the war by demilitarizing the Nazis and having a neutral Ukraine, stopping the expansion of NATO. That ends the war. You know that, right? So how do we have the pro-war position? The people who are hashtag stand with Ukraine. That entire movement is a pro-war movement. Are you guys? Or do we understand that? You guys are sending weapons and allowing civilians to die because you guys don't want NATO to expand. If anyone who say we are pro-war, I'll guarantee you they don't even know Putin's demands. And these same people who are like, well, and I've seen it. I told you guys, I've seen the counter argument. These same people will say, yeah, Putin's demand seems reasonable, but can we really trust the Russians? It's nothing but xenophobia. They have very reasonable demands. And the people say, oh, well, even though the demands are reasonable, we can't get Putin what he wants because he may lie. You know who are they talking about? Who lied about the Iran deal? Us. We pulled out that Iran deal. We are a country that constantly violated agreements. They violated the Minsk agreement. But you're like, oh, we can't trust that Putin want to end the war. Because you want to stop this conflict. So that's the anti-war position. People pulling the Raymond syndrome is so crazy. People pulling the Raymond syndrome is so crazy. You guys are cheering for the mass slaughter of civilians just so he doesn't get one bitty geopolitical victory. Can we admit that that's what this is about? You guys don't want to give Putin his demands because that would give Putin a geopolitical victory. So in order to stop that, you say you want Ukrainian citizens to die. But you guys think we're not. You think we're the pro-war side? Anyone with hashtag stand with Ukraine, you're the pro-war side. Are we clear? We are supporting ending the war. And if Putin lies about that, we can make an adjustment at that point. The people in that sphere can hold him accountable. But as an anti-imperialist, I am holding the NATO U.S. neoliberal economic order accountable because that is the system that has brutalized and colonized my people. I asked the question at the beginning of the live stream. Why the fuck should I be spending all my time on Putin when Biden is funding multiple genocides? They are literally bombing Palestine, bombing Gaza, stealing and bulldozing apartments. But you guys have hashtag Ukraine, but not hashtag stand with Palestine. In fact, this is a great segment. So I hope you got time to stick with me one more because I definitely got to get to this one. So the same people.
Yeah. Nick, can I just throw one other thing?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Zoya. Sorry, go ahead.
The Wolfowitz doctrine triggered the post-Cold War use of NATO as an instrument of bloody aggression against Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. It declared, in effect, that diplomacy was dead and that American power ruled by violence if necessary. That shout out to my friend Kieran for sending me that. And you guys can go look it up. Wolfowitz, I'll spell it, Wolfowitz doctrine. That's what NATO has been, an aggressor, a bloody aggressor. And this war started 8 years ago. Anybody that's pretending it didn't, anyone that's pretending it started 2 weeks ago is being dishonest.
Well said. I think this is a good segment to this. And I want to show you guys how the Stand With Ukraine people, the liberals, and the conservatives as well, this is bipartisan. They're both full of shit, to be clear. I'm going to show you guys how they're full of hypocrites. And this is another reason why I am against them. How can you back? You got leftists that are taking sides between war of capitalists, war of imperialists. These same people are rubbing shoulders with Zionists. So you guys want to see this story? And I'll show you guys this amazing hypocrisy. Because one of the funniest stories I've seen was the Israelis that was on occupied Palestinian land. They were protesting Russia occupying Ukraine on occupied Palestine. That's how full of shit these liberals are. These Stand With Ukraine people are. That's how full of shit they are. Now, you guys want to see another example of this? The same people who are like, stand with Ukraine, but they are not only silent on the Palestinian issue, they are actively hostile towards them. Check this out. This is incredible. This is incredible. Vogue magazine reported that, I don't know how to say this person's name. This is a celebrity. I have no idea what this is. I don't know celebrities, but this celebrity, Gigi, is donating her earnings to relief efforts. You gotta love a good cloud trader who's making money. She killing the game. We are not against prosperity, but I would love to see people who are more prosperous support on the ground movements. So when I see that she sent her relief efforts to Palestine, that's great, because I'm calling out the hypocrites. Like I could love to educate her on the Ukraine crisis, but I'm not gonna be mad if you're like, all right, I'm gonna stand against anyone who's suffering. This is great, but check this out. Vogue then removed Palestine from its report, following backlash from Zionists. Some who called Vogue's post calling for a second Holocaust. Hashtag stand with Ukraine, though. Israel is bombing Syria. They're literally bulldozing Palestinian homes and replacing them, which is quite literally the definition of ethnic cleansing. But the people who are like, I am anti-war, I'm anti-imperialist, I'm a liberal, but I believe in the freedom of democracy and sovereignty. They are literally censoring people. This person here I respect this person. They stand with the Ukrainians and the Palestinians. So here is some more details on this. I'm trying to read it, find the clip. So supermodel. So I'll start from here. I don't know these people. So they both supermodels. Gigi and Bella. Their daughter's a real estate developer. Blah blah blah. This is their background. I don't really care. But they are also extremely vocal about their beliefs that Palestinians should be free of their illegal occupation. See, I don't know these people, but that's base. That's a good start, right? So in an Instagram post, she posted that she'll be donating her earnings from Fashion Month to Ukraine and Palestinian causes. She said, I'm pledging to donate my earnings from the fall 2022 show to aid suffering from war in Ukraine, as well as continuing to support those experiencing the same in Palestine. And so that's her social media post. So I'm gonna skim ahead here a little bit. A day after the photo was posted, its caption was edited to omit the quote from Hattie's original statement mentioning Palestine. So she was like, I stand with Ukraine, I stand with Palestine, but then they edited the Palestine part out. But you guys think that these people are on your side. You guys are on these people's side, but you think you're the anti-imperialist. That's so hilarious. That's so hilarious. What you share here, Zoya? What's this?
This is the.
I'm getting to that. I'm actually getting to that. Good. But you have anything you want to add before we move on? Because I actually got that clip I'm gonna share too.
No, I also DM'd you a picture, and I want to put that picture up because I'm talking to people that are pro-Ukraine that say the world stands with Ukraine, and I just wanted to show this picture of what the world looks like from their perspective.
Oh, here it is. 1 second. This one right here?
Yeah. So this is the world that stands with Ukraine.
Yeah.
If this is your idea of the world, you're leaving out a few places, and you're not listening to international voices in countries that have been brutalized by NATO. And no, they do not stand with NATO, because right now Ukraine is NATO. Ukraine is not some sovereign country. Ukraine is a NATO puppet. This entire war is fueled by NATO actions. Therefore, the world that has been colonized, that has been victimized, that has been bombed is not standing with NATO. So you guys have to get out of your Western chauvinistic perspectives and realize and listen to international voices. That's why I sent you that clip, but we'll play it later on.
Yeah, I actually got that planned as well. So to add to Zoya's point, I want you guys to understand that you guys are not standing with Ukraine. You're not. You guys are advocating for Ukrainian citizens to die. They're not standing with the people in the Donbass who was bombed by the neo-Nazis. So you guys are just not doing it. So as someone who's actually anti-imperialist and someone who has to speak out against Western chauvinism in all its form, that's the point of the channel, right? To call out Western chauvinism, which a lot of people on the United States left and the giant media platforms, the giant progressives like Breaking Points, all these people, TYT, the same people who are pushing full spectrum dominance propaganda, we are in opposition to that because they are pushing Western chauvinism. These people are the people who silence the people I listen to on the International Leftist Coalition from the global south. The many people I talk to, it's just, man, we gotta resist that, and people are gonna get upset at us for doing it, but it has to be done. So I want to continue on because there's people that are so desperate to rewrite this conflict, rewrite what's going on. So not only are that you have people editing mentions of Palestine, you have people, not people. And that's the scary part, actually. The scary part is not people. It's big tech. It's the fascist collusion between corporate state, the corporations in our state. This is crazy. YouTube just deleted Oliver Stone's critically acclaimed documentary, Ukraine on Fire. Because that documentary tells you the story that a lot of these Western chauvinist progressives and the corporate media does not tell you. Because this documentary explains how Putin does not start this conflict, because this conflict started in 2014. Hence, Ukraine's on fire. So, what do you do if you are on the winning side? If you have the facts on your side, guys, what is something you do? Do you censor and pull documentaries, which is akin to book burning? Does that sound like the side that is on the right to you guys? I'm asking all the standing with the Ukraine people that are going to be furious at this video because we got higher than usual viewing, because it has to be some hate viewing, right? If you're one of those people, do you think that these people are on your side? They're pulling documentaries that completely demolishes your talking point. Because when you acknowledge that this is a conflict that's been going on since 2014, once you acknowledge that Ukraine hasn't been a sovereign country since at least 2014, that demolishes all the talking points that the people with Putin derangement syndrome has. So they have to pull this shit from YouTube. That, you know how crazy that is? That's why I had to get to this part. But we have showed some more hypocrisies here soon. But Zoe, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, the maker of that documentary, Igor, I forgot what his name is, but he also posted today that the documentary is available on Vimeo, and that he is granting the people all the copyrights to download it and spread it. And the documentary was already back up on YouTube. So they're not going to stop this. The documentary is already back up.
They're on Rumble. I think they're on Rumble too. I thought I had it saved. I got to pull it up. I think Rumble is hosting it too. So that's why we need to continue to grow like anti-establishment independent media, because once shit like that happens, we got to have some sort of backbone institution that can like prop it up, and that's independent media. So shit, if he given permission, shit, I might have a live stream where I literally just play that shit. YouTube might like demonetize us, but it's like whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, if he's cool with that, I'll literally just do that. Cause we gotta get this shit out here. No, we get YouTube with yank.
100%. Nick, one day, I mean, honestly, if you're down, I'd love to just watch that documentary with you, live stream it, and we'll just comment on it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because it has all of the key players in it.
Yeah, because if he like downloaded, that means he's cool with us playing it, right? He has to be, because he want to get the message. So that's why I think we should do that. Because I haven't seen it.
He said to flood all of the media with it. So he's like, I'm granting you copyright permission.
Good. So do you guys understand? Like, not only am I watching this absolute insanity, this insane xenophobia, this insane censorship, the taking down of RT, the blacklisting of anyone who's Russian, even the people who are anti-Putin, the vandalism of Russian businesses. Like, as crazy as that is, you notice that white America and West as a whole, their mindset is, and I strongly disagree with this, right? Their mindset is this situation is so bad that we have to become tyrants to stop it, which I personally disagree with, especially considering all the context and everything. But you notice that these same people are not willing to go to that extreme to stop the police from killing our people. They're not willing to go to that extreme to stop ICE detention camps. They're not willing to go to that extent to stop the genocide in Yemen. They're not willing to go to that extent to stop the genocide in Palestine. I can go on and on and on, right?
Sadly.
So that's why, as a black or colonized person, as someone who's an anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, as a leftist, it makes no sense to have your eye on anything else other than our state. Other than our state. Now I'm gonna get to the clip that you want to go over, Zoya, and I'll get your reaction right after we get done watching it. Because the Irish left is pretty goddamn based. I need to do more research, but from what I have seen thus far, the left in Ireland is based. I don't know how much political power they have. I gotta learn more about the country. But the people they do have, they are not AOC. They are not Bernie Sanders. They're not pussy. They are gonna call it out how it is. And I've seen this over and over again, whether it comes to the issue of Julian Assange, the endless wars by the West. Now, there's one Irish politician in particular that I have been following for a while that I like, Claire Daly. Based as fuck. I'm gonna let her speak for herself. Let me fix the audio here. I hate when I forget to do this.
There's no doubt about it. We're living in times of catastrophic crisis where the lives of innocent civilians are sacrificed in the wars of their masters. Yes, in Ukraine, but not only. Since the last plenary, tens of thousands of Afghani citizens have been forced to flee in search of food and safety. 5 million children face famine, an agonizing and painful death, a 500% increase in child marriages and children being sold just so they can survive, and not a mention of it. Not here, not anywhere. No wall-to-wall TV coverage, no emergency humanitarian response, no special plenaries, not even a mention in this plenary, no Afghani delegations and no statements. My God, they must be wondering, what makes their humanitarian crisis so unimportant? Is it the colour of their skin? Is it that they're not white? They're not European? That their problems come from a US gun or a US invasion? Is it that the decision to rob their country's wealth was taken by a despotic US president rather than a Russian one? Because, my God, all wars are evil and all victims deserve support. And until we get on that page, we have no credibility whatsoever.
Now, you guys know why I criticize AOC and Bernie now? There's no one anywhere near the level of Claire Daly that represents us in America. Do you guys understand that? That's one base clip, but I've seen it over and over from this person. For speaking on Julian Assange, calling out the war crimes of Biden in the United States over and over again. Claire Bailey is fucking based, and we would never have anyone like that run in the Democrat Party. I'll guarantee it. But Zoya, you wanted to talk about this clip, so I want to pass it to you. What's your reaction to that? Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, it speaks for itself, and I think Americans need to embrace the fact that we have no credibility. We have no credibility. Let that sink in. We have no credibility to lecture any other country on earth on what they should be doing. Until you rein in the American imperialism, you have no basis to lecture any other country. Whatever your opinions are, they're invalid. You are here in America. You are part of this system. If you want to fight war, if you want to oppose war, oppose NATO and America right here. And if you're engaging in any sort of xenophobic rhetoric or worse towards Russians because you think they can remove Putin from power, how dare you? That means that you can remove Biden from power. That's your perspective, right? So be consistent. Remove Biden from power first.
Zoya, that's literally the insane argument that comes from liberals that are cheering the economic war against Russians. I have seen it. I don't feel like pulling up the receipts for you guys, but I've seen so many liberals that say, oh, if you guys don't want Russian citizens to be hurt, maybe Russians should do something about Putin. Maybe they should get in the street and forcibly. Oh, these people are so crazy. These people are so crazy. While our government is responsible for the largest amount of human rights violations, we are the biggest terrorist state. But we want to starve other people. Progressives are arguing that we should starve other people because they're a victim of their evil government. But meanwhile, the police are shooting and killing black people with impunity, and our progressives will tell you to vote for that. Compare Claire Daly to an AOC. Not even if you guys think AOC on the left, people think AOC is on the fucking left. Compare her to Claire Daly. AOC is afraid to talk about Julian Assange. Claire Daly talks about it all the time. All the time. This is another tweet. I was looking at her timeline. You guys saw it because I want to see her other takes. There's another take she has. I didn't plan this. I just want to see what she's thinking, right? Extremely important and timely article. Anyone demanding the EU pumps Ukraine full of lethal weapons should read it carefully. It's not as simple as you think. No to Russia war, no to escalation, no to EU militarism. Exactly what we've been saying, right? If you're hashtag stand with Ukraine, but you like, I want to arm Ukrainian people, you are not anti-war. You're not anti-imperialist. So that's another base take by Claire Daly. I also have another video. We might talk about this more on because we talk about Claire Daly, but this is another one. What is the date on this? Come on, our boys. You guys know from the International Leftist Coalition, Kareem Batesh. You sent me this video, so I want to watch it. I haven't seen this beforehand, but I want you guys to know that I don't know the power that the Irish left have in that country. I want to read the chat. Maybe you guys know, but from what I've seen, their left party is legit as fuck. So look, here's another one going off. I want to get your reaction to it. Hopefully, you haven't seen it yet.
The Arab population as a whole, the Palestinian population as a whole, as an inferior race. I mean, it doesn't get stronger than this. And yet you want to be careful about your language. You're happy to correctly use the most strong and robust language to describe the crimes against humanity of Vladimir Putin, but you will not use the same strength of language when it comes to describing Israel's treatment of the Palestinians, when it is now being documented and detailed by two of the most respected human rights organizations in the world, and indeed has been alleged by dozens and dozens of non-governmental organizations, and to be honest, anybody who looks honestly at the decades of brutal, inhumane persecution of the Palestinians, successive assaults on Gaza, the annexation of their land and territory, the systematic application of apartheid rules, you don't want to even use the word apartheid. Never mind sanctions.
Before I get to that, that's literally describes progressives, by the way. You understand that United States progressives don't even use the word apartheid? Anyway, sorry, I want this is base as hell. Like, and as I continue this clip, like we watched Claire Daly, I'm being introduced to Richard Boyd Barrett. Like I said, I don't know that much about the Irish left, guys, but this is based. Imagine, like, they never talk like this in the United States left. And you guys people wonder why I criticize Bernie and AOC and these people. Who, if you want to make the argument that they're better than everyone else, okay, who gives a fuck? This should be the standard. Like this right here. The way he's speaking, the truth to power that he's actually speaking right now. But they won't even call Biden a war criminal. But I'm gonna rewind a little bit and I'll let it continue. But goddamn, this is base. Zoya, do you want to add anything before I continue the clip?
No, I've seen it. I'm aware of these people. I'm just, I feel him. They use decorum in this country, to shut down these voices. But this passion that he has, this anger that he has, it's justified. It's the anger that all of us should be having. But we're told to be polite. No, we have to be nice. We can't scream.
That's the civility politics and the toxic positivity that this channel speaks out against.
Exactly.
So let's continue this. I gotta fix my audio here.
Land and territory, the systematic application of apartheid rules, You don't want to even use the word apartheid. Never mind sanctions. 5 days sanctions against Putin and his thugs, 70 years of oppression by the Palestinians, and it wouldn't be, what was the word you used? It wouldn't be helpful to impose sanctions. Amnesty International are calling for Israel to be referred to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. Will you support it? They are calling for targeted sanctions against Israeli officials who are perpetuating the system of apartheid, just exactly the same types of sanctions you've just initiated against Vladimir Putin. Will you support it? And I think the answer is clearly you're not going to.
God damn, Irish sounds badass when Irish accent is speaking truth to power. Holy shit. That is strong. So, by the way, the West melts down at BDS, which is a working class attempt at sanctioning the Israelis and boycotting against their government as ruthless in their opposition to the Palestinian people. They're literally ethnically cleansing them. Meanwhile, the progressives in the United States will vote for the Iron Dome and repeat the bullshit that Israel has the right to defend itself, even though it's an offensive, colonizing threat. Do you guys see the difference? Now do you guys understand why we criticize them as leftist leaders? I criticize them as leftist leaders because they are fucking center-right compared to that. He just called them out as an apartheid state that need to be sanctioned. Meanwhile, our progressives vote for the Iron Dome. Do you guys see the difference?
We don't really have a left in America.
Left at all. Not left. That's when I watched. I didn't see that clip in particular. I saw the other one in prep, but when I see that one in particular, I'm like, bro. If you're mad if I criticize Bernie, I don't want to hear shit. Like you hear when you just the man. I gotta learn more about the Irish. How the hell did they get away with talking like that? I don't know how they do. I don't know how they do it. I want to share this because we about to wrap up. We're about 2 hours in, but I definitely want to share this last thing that you sent me because it's kind of a receipt of what we were talking about earlier. Zoya, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I actually responded to that tweet, but first let's preface it with where are these weapons going? And first of all, this tweet is showing a shipment of NLAW grenade launchers and instructors from NATO countries arrived in Kharkiv. The Azov Regiment was the first to learn about new weaponry. Now, if you guys don't know about the Azov Regiment, then go look it up. My tweet that in response was, I zoomed in on the arm of the soldier all the way to the right, and that is a Wolf's Angel, a Nazi insignia. And I just posted a reminder that Google is free. You can look this stuff up. This isn't Russian propaganda. This is objective reality. These are people.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused because the narrative that comes from the West is that, oh man, the Ukrainian crisis, the Nazi crisis they have is overblown by Putin. But somehow they keep trying to downplay the Nazi crisis in Ukraine, but somehow they cannot help but take pictures of these motherfucking Nazis. So if there's such a small amount of Nazis in Ukraine, why do you guys keep having pictures of them? Like this is one of many, guys. I see there's so many examples of people tweeting out. I actually do have one saved that I'm about to share. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Because actually, yeah, I do have it saved. Tanky Twitter actually bullied. Here it is. NATO. Here it is. I didn't have it saved. So you guys know the tankies are demonized. Tanky Twitter got NATO to delete their tweet. You know why? Because look at this. Look at this NATO tweet. All women and girls must live free and equal. This International Women's Day, we think of the remarkable women of Ukraine. Their strength, bravery, and resilience are symbiotic of the spirit. That's someone's bullshit. I can't even say it. It's someone's bullshit, right? So they pretty much, and then people look at the fucking people they're popping up. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's Nazi shit. That's the Black Sun. The Black Sun is a Nazi symbol. The type of sun wheel employed in a post-Nazi Germany context by neo-Nazis and some strains of Satanism. So my point is, we showed you this person that Zoya exposed, right? Zoya exposed next to whoever that is, right? Like they did a photo op of these resistance fighters. They like to call them, right? But they're fucking Nazis. So they say, oh my, you guys are just overblowing the Nazi problem, but somehow you guys cannot take a picture without a Nazi. So that's all I'm saying. Thanks for sharing that, Zoya. I think do I have anything else? I think I'm gonna say the rest for later because I think I'm gonna have a conversation with Cream and Peter, maybe on Thursday. We may invite you as well. We still trying to plan it, but I still got a lot to share. But I may save it because we're about 2 hours in.
I have a funny tweet that'll be good to close on.
Yeah. Where's that? This is right here. Let's share this. Zoya, ladies and gentlemen, follow them. Oh my! I see. I like this. I like where you're going with this. Let's check this out.
What the fuck are you still doing in Iraq? Can somebody tell me? Ain't we killed everybody? That's why I love America. We some goddamn bullies. We don't give a shit. We be on CNN like, say our name, bitch. Say it 3 times. To see we don't come over there and kill everybody. You don't believe we gangsters? Tell me what the Iraqi uniform look like. Don't worry, I'll wait. Because you ain't never seen that motherfucker. We ain't killing their army, nigga. We killing them. We over there killing niggas in sweatpants, tank tops, flip-flops, and a cowboy hat. You shouldn't have been talking shit. Our government pimps, they get on the news, they act like we ain't even over there killing real people. They don't never get on the news and say today we killed 4 men, 3 women, and 2 children. They use a word niggas can't readily identify. Today we killed a group of insurgents. Niggas be at the house like, I don't even know no motherfucking insurgents. You can kill all them motherfuckers. I don't have not one insurgent friend.
Holy guys, I want you guys to know, Cat Williams, he had up and down this career, but that man, I seen him speak on other issues before. Very smart. Him and Eddie Griffin. There are reasons why Eddie Griffin and Cat Williams are smeared a lot by. You see, there's some people who has an easy ride in Hollywood. Eddie Griffin is another example. Eddie Griffin and Cat Williams. These motherfuckers did not follow Hollywood. Like, you see the celebrities that follow Hollywood bullshit, like The Rock. Right, The Rock and like a lot of these people, they'll follow Hollywood bullshit and they have amazing careers. I'm telling you guys, Cat Williams, he spoke against fucking neoliberalism multiple times. So in that stand-up in particular, he had a few stand-ups I thought was like, all right, that wasn't that good, man. Like recent ones, but I don't remember what it's called. The one that we just played. Fuck, how did I forget it? Pimpin', something like that. I forgot what it's called. But that's one of the best stand-ups I've ever seen. Like that special, he's on fucking fire the whole time. Like, and Cat has some up and downs. There's some specials I'm like, man, he fell off a little bit. But there was like a 2 to 3 year period where you had Cat Williams and you had Dave Chappelle. They was on fucking fire. Like you had Chappelle, he would release a special. Cat Williams released a special. Pimp Chronicles. Pimp is another one, I think. Pimp Chronicles, that special. And once again, there were some specials that he had recently where I'm like, man, he's not funny as he used to be. But that era, Cat Williams was on fucking fire, man. And Dave Chappelle was too. And that stand-up, I need to rewatch it. Because I actually do remember that bit, but I haven't seen it in a long time. That's why I was cracking up. Like, damn, he did say that. Damn. And if you got another person I recommend, Eddie Griffin for Kansas City, my boy. This man has specials. Well, I rewatched it recently. When I watched it when I was younger, I didn't even understand the critique he was given. And you guys know why Eddie Griffin was blacklisted. He also have a YouTube channel, and he broke down exactly the war against the poor that the Biden administration and Trump was waging, using COVID as an excuse. That's what Eddie Griffin was saying. And I was like, whoa, that is literally like a breakdown you would see on our channel and among our friends. Hold on, what if I can find it? We're wrapping up here, so we just having fun. I actually watched it pretty recently. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Okay, it's good.
That clip is powerful. It just shows you how mainstream media manufactures consent, and they dehumanize people when it's convenient. And now all of a sudden, Ukrainians are just the most angelic, victimized people in the world, and we should all be protesting. And standing up for them and boycotting Russia. But I mean, you guys realize the media is controlling where your attention goes. It's controlling how you react to things. Just stand back for a little bit and just take a look at things objectively. Turn off mainstream media. That's my recommendation. Just turn it off for a day, for a week, for a month. I mean, I haven't watched it in years unless I'm forced to comment on it. But you'll see your mind shifting. Read a book, watch a documentary. Go organize. I mean, you are missing out on life and you are letting these people rattle your emotions, construct a narrative, and get you to support things that you would never in a million years support if you actually knew the context.
Well said. I actually think we'll wrap it up here. We're gonna have fun and we can talk all day, Zoya. And we gotta have you back. I have an announcement as well because I got a lot of great guests we're working on. I'm gonna have my boy Garland Nixon with me Saturday. That should be a good one. Garland Nixon. The only guy, by the way, Garland Nixon is the only guy who had the balls to debate me on defund the police. No one else would do it. I've been asking for like a year now. Garland, and the thing is, Garland Nixon, he don't disagree with defund. He just disagree with the tactics he's seen some abolitionists advocate for. And I've been asking a lot of people who fucking they always say shit like, "Oh, I think defund the police is a bad slogan. I think defund the police movement." I agree with the idea, but I think you guys are. I've been asking you motherfuckers to challenge me and debate me on the direction of 10 demands for a long time. Zoya co-founded 10 demands with me. Garland Nixon was the only one who accepted it, and it was a great conversation. I think it was a very educational conversation we had on Cyber Sab channel, and we agree on a lot, especially on foreign policy. He's one of a few other black brothers I see that actually follow in the footsteps of people like Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, MLK, who actually believe in international response. He's been opposing NATO. One of the few people I've seen get this shit right too. So you guys see, I'm very excited about Saturday. So make sure you guys check that out. Tomorrow we have the roundtable, right? Yeah, roundtable tomorrow. Yeah, Cyber Sab show on Friday. I'll have Kit from Harlan's Media. He's gonna join me next week as well. I got a lot of guests. I'm trying to juggle on my head right now. But you guys make sure you guys check out the interview from Margaret Kimberly. So a lot of great things coming up on the channel. And I also want to say thank you guys for helping us hit 14K. We are on pace to hit our goal, hit 15,000 subscribers before our 1-year anniversary. We've been doing this for less than a year, guys. So it's crazy the support we got. So please help us continue to grow because the algorithm has not been on our side. So please share with a friend. You guys have been sharing, liking, helping us beat the algorithm. So thank you. Thank you for helping us get to 14K. Now let's get to 15K. Let's hope this movement grow. Also, if you want to show support direct donation, SocialistMMA, Cashapp. We also on Patreon, Revolutionary Blackout, if you want to support independent journalists. So thank you guys for watching. We upload every day. So Zoya, anything else you want to shout out? Any promotion? Any last word? You have great last words in general. Anything you want to say?
I just want to say that gas prices are going up, and realize that means transportation costs are going up on everything. We're about to see prices on goods skyrocket. So my comrades, if you have the means, stock up on goods, start growing things in your gardens. You can use very small spaces. There are excellent comrades on Twitter sharing the knowledge on how to make a small space yield a large outcome. So go ahead and start preparing because we are in for a long one. And besides that, just love and solidarity.
Well said. Well said. Thank you guys for supporting. Love you guys. Have a good one.